The pineal gland, often called the third eye, is a tiny pinecone-shaped nugget about the size of a grain of rice, tucked deep inside your brain, right in the center, between the two main halves, behind your eyes. It's like a hidden control room no one thinks about until something goes wrong. Its main job is to make melatonin, that sleep hormone everyone talks about. When it gets darker outside, the pineal gland gets signals from the eyes, then starts pumping out melatonin to tell your body, hey, time to wind down and get ready for bed. It's your internal clock, helping regulate not just sleep, but also mood and even when puberty hits in kids. In the womb, it starts forming very early as part of your brain's basic wiring, then grows strong during childhood when it's busy helping time your growth spurts. By your 20s or 30s, though, it often starts calcifying, basically getting coated in calcium deposits that show up as white specks on brain scans, like it's slowly turning into a tiny rock. In our evolutionary ancestors, this structure was a full-blown third eye on the tops of lizard skulls, actually peeking out to sense sunlight for basking or navigation. Over millions of years, mammals like us pulled it inside, shrinking it down but keeping its light-sensing superpowers to sync our lives to day and night. Clinically, the pineal can stir up real trouble. Tumors here, called pinealomas, are rare but sneaky. They can block fluid flow in your brain, leading to killer headaches, vision glitches, nausea, or even pressure buildup that swells the skull. Less dramatically, heavy calcification or messed up melatonin output links to chronic sleep issues, migraines, or mood dips that feel like your body's clock is stuck on the wrong time zone. Doctors spot it with MRI or CT scans, then often go in surgically to remove it, tricky because of its spot, or hit it with radiation and chemo. If it's gone or damaged, you might lean on melatonin pills, strict bedtime routines, or light therapy boxes to hack your rhythm back to normal. Most people adapt, but good sleep becomes a daily battle. Historically, this gland has been a mind-bender. French philosopher René Descartes obsessed over it in the 1600s, calling it the seat of the soul, the spot where your non-physical mind supposedly plugs into your physical body. Fast forward to today, and pop culture runs wild with it. Spiritual folks swear it's your third eye for enlightenment, tying it to chakras, meditation highs, and even DMT trips that unlock hidden realms. Conspiracy corners blame fluoride in water for calcifying it and blocking cosmic awareness, while wellness influencers push decalcalcification diets. Science rolls its eyes. It's a hormone factory, not a portal, but the mystery keeps it endlessly fascinating.
The thymus gland, often called the heart protector, is a soft, pyramid-shaped organ about the size of your thumb, parked right behind your breastbone and sitting just in front of your heart. It's a quiet training ground that your body forgets about after childhood. Its big role is acting as boot camp for immunity cells, those crucial white blood cells that form the backbone of your immune system. Fresh T cells roll in from your bone marrow as rookies, and the thymus teaches them to spot invaders like viruses or cancer without attacking your own healthy tissues, basically graduating billions of these immune soldiers every day to patrol your bloodstream for life. Developmentally, it starts taking shape in the baby from a couple of small pouches, then explodes in size during babyhood and toddler years when your immune system needs the most training. That's why chest x-rays of little kids often show it dominating the space. Around puberty, though, it begins shrinking dramatically, a process called involution, where it gets replaced by fat and scar tissue, leaving just a shadow by adulthood, as your immune team is already out in the field. Evolution-wise, the thymus goes way back to the earliest vertebrates like fish, marking the upgrade from basic punch-everything immunity to smart, memory-based defenses that let animals survive repeat infections. That's why we can get vaccines that teach our T cells to remember threats. On the clinical side, problems here are uncommon but serious. Thymomas, tumors in the gland, can press on your lungs or nerves, causing chest pain, breathing trouble, or weird weakness, and they're often tied to autoimmune diseases like myasthenia gravis, where rogue T cells attack your muscle signals, leaving you droopy-eyed and fatigued. Kids born with DiGeorge syndrome might have a tiny or missing thymus, leading to frequent, scary infections. Doctors use CT or MRI scans to check it out, then often recommend surgery to remove the whole thing, thymectomy, paired with radiation, chemo, or immune-suppressing drugs if needed. Lose it early and you're more prone to certain bugs, but in adults, the rest of your immune network usually picks up the slack without much drama. Historically, the thymus had docs stumped. 19th century physicians blamed oversized ones for sudden crib deaths in babies, a total myth that led to needless surgeries until the 20th century cleared it up.
Today, it pops up in pop culture as the unsung heart protector in wellness myths or superhero backstories, and it's a hot topic in anti-aging research with dreams of rejuvenating it to boost immunity in old age. Mysteries linger too. Why does it shrink so predictably, and could we hack it back for longer, healthier lives? It's that rare organ where science meets a bit of wonder about our built-in expiration dates.
The vomeronasal organ, also called Jacobson's organ, is a super small patch of sensory tissue hiding in the base of your nasal septum, that wall dividing your two nostrils. The kicker? Many adults don't even have a fully formed one, or it's so small it's basically a whisper. In animals like mice or snakes, this organ is a powerhouse for picking up pheromones, those invisible chemical signals for mating, territory marking, or stay-away warnings. In humans, though, it's mostly a background player at best, maybe faintly influencing moods, attractions, or social vibes we chalk up to chemistry. But science isn't fully sold on how much it actually does for us day to day. It starts out promising in the embryo, budding off from your early nose structures, but by birth it shrinks back dramatically in most people, leaving behind small remnants that might not even connect properly. Evolution tells a wild story here. Reptiles like snakes flick their tongues into it to taste the air for prey or mates. Mammals amped it up for social bonding and sex cues. But as primates like us leaned harder on sight, language, and big brains for flirting and fighting, it faded into the background. Clinically, it rarely causes standalone trouble since it's so minor. Any irritation might just cause sinus headaches, allergies, or weird phantom smells. Discovered in 1811 by Danish anatomist Ludvig Jacobsen, who first found it in horses, it exploded into pop culture as the human pheromone detector behind instant crushes, cologne empires promising sex appeal in a bottle, and endless articles on why you just clicked with someone. Romance novels and pickup artist forums hype it as invisible love magic, while skeptics point out we lack the full animal plumbing. It's that perfect mix of evolutionary leftover and modern myth. The adenoids are a spongy, walnut-sized clump of immune tissue sitting high up in the back of your nose, working as the first checkpoint for every breath you take. Their job is to act like a germ-trapping net, snagging viruses, bacteria, and other invaders from the air you inhale, then alerting your immune system to crank out antibodies and white blood cells to fight them off before they can dive deeper into your lungs or bloodstream. Super handy for kids constantly exposed to playground bugs. Developmentally, they start forming in the embryo from the same tissues that make your tonsils, then balloon to full size between ages 3 and 7, when kids are infection magnets. After that, they naturally shrink through the teen years, often leaving just a thin scrap or nothing by adulthood. Evolution handed us adenoids as part of our throat's defense gang, a setup that kicked into high gear when early humans started huddling in caves and villages full of shared snot and sneezes. When they cause issues, it's usually from getting too big and blocking airflow, leading to chronic stuffy noses, mouth breathing, which can mess up teeth and faces over time, endless ear infections, snoring, or even sleep apnea, where kids, or adults, stop breathing at night. Rarer problems include infections that won't quit, or, very occasionally, tumors. Doctors peek with a tiny camera up the nose or order x-rays, starting with steroid nose sprays or antibiotics to calm things down. If it's bad, they schedule an adenoidectomy, a quick surgery to scoop them out, often bundled with tonsil removal, which clears breathing instantly, though your other immune spots step up without much fuss. Historically, adenoids got blamed for everything from stupidity to bedwetting in the 1800s and early 1900s, sparking a surgery boom before science dialed it back. The prostate gland is a walnut-sized gland in guys wrapped right around the urethra, your P-tube, at the base of the bladder, just in front of the rectum, so doctors can actually feel it during a checkup by pressing there. Its key role is making a milky fluid that's about 30% of semen, loaded with nutrients, enzymes, and protection to help sperm swim better. Plus, it squeezes shut the bladder neck during ejaculation, so pee and semen don't mix up. Developmentally, it sprouts in the male fetus under testosterone's command, stays small through boyhood, then bulks up big time at puberty to gear up for reproduction. Later in life, it often keeps growing slowly, leading to that classic up-all-night peeing phase many older men know too well. Evolution-wise, the prostate is a mammal-exclusive feature, popping up to make semen thicker and more effective for species that mate internally. Fish and frogs just spray eggs and sperm into water, but we needed this upgrade for reliable baby-making on land. Clinically, it's trouble central. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, or prostate enlargement, makes it swell and pinch the urethra, causing weak streams, constant urges, and sleep-ruining bathroom trips. Prostatitis brings burning pain, fever, or pelvic ache from infection or inflammation.
Worst is prostate cancer, super common but often slow-growing, though aggressive types can spread to bones and beyond. Doctors screen with blood tests and a digital rectal exam, treat BPH with pills to shrink or relax it, zap prostatitis with antibiotics, and tackle cancer via surgery, removing the whole gland, radiation, or hormone blockers. In pop culture, the prostate has a cheeky double life that's equal parts medical whisper and bedroom legend, most famously hyped as the infamous P-spot or male G-spot. Sex experts swear it's a hidden pleasure button. Buzzing it with toys, fingers, or prostate massage is all over wellness TikTok, OnlyFans tutorials, and men's health mags, promising earth-shaking orgasms that bypass the penis entirely, turning milking the prostate from clinical procedure into a kink staple that's destigmatized male anal play.
The lacrimal system, also known as the tear system, is your eye's plumbing network, with the main tear glands in the outer upper corners of each eye socket, feeding into tiny drainage holes, puncta, at the inner eyelids that funnel tears through canals and nasal ducts to your throat. Every blink spreads a fresh film across your cornea, keeping your eyes smooth, clear, and protected. This setup constantly bathes your eyes in a 3-layer tear film, a watery base from the glands for moisture and germ fighters, an oily top from eyelid meibomian glands to prevent evaporation, and mucus underneath to stick it all together. Together, they keep vision sharp, eyes comfy, and infections at bay. Emotional tears add stress hormones, giving you that cry-it-out reset many people feel after a good sob. Evolution handed the system to land animals, upgrading from the simple eye-flushing tricks of fish. Emotional crying in animals is rare, but in humans, tears help with social bonding and grief signals, turning a purely mechanical system into a way of saying, "I'm hurting," without words. Issues hit hard. Dry eye, blocked ducts, or inflamed glands can all throw the system off. Dry eye makes your eyes feel gritty and burn, while blocked ducts can cause overflow tears or infections like dacryocystitis, which can turn into painful boils near the nose. Allergies or inflammation can also swell the glands, making your eyes feel puffy and itchy. Doctors test with dye drops or paper strips measuring flow, and usually treat basics with artificial tears, plugs, or meds to calm inflammation. Ancient Greeks tied tears to the body humors, saying they balanced moods and physical health. Sigmund Freud later saw crying as a kind of catharsis, a way to release built-up psychological tension when words aren't enough. Bartholin's glands are a pair of tiny glands tucked deep inside the labia on either side of the vaginal opening. They're like discrete lubrication stations you never notice until they act up. Their main gig is producing a clear, slippery mucus fluid during sexual arousal, which lubricates the vagina to make penetration comfortable and friction-free, helping with conception by keeping sperm mobile and protecting delicate tissues. Think of them as nature's personal lube dispensers for intimacy and childbirth. Developmentally, they stay small and dormant until puberty, when estrogen wakes them up for action. They keep quietly chugging along through the reproductive years before tapering off after menopause. Evolution gave these glands to female placental mammals as part of the shift to internal mating and live birth. Unlike simpler animals that don't need extra wetness, we got this upgrade to handle prolonged intercourse and bigger babies squeezing through narrow spaces. Clinically, Bartholin's glands are drama queens when they get blocked. Cysts form from backed-up fluid, painless lumps at first, but infections can turn them into hot, throbbing abscesses that make sitting or walking torture, sometimes needing urgent draining by a doctor. In some cases, they can form small stones or recur, so specialists may create a tiny pocket to keep the gland open, or remove it if problems keep coming back. The ossicles are 3 tiny bones in your ear, linked in a delicate chain inside the middle ear space, between your eardrum and the inner ear. Each is smaller than a sesame seed, and together, they're smaller than a grain of rice. Their job is pure acoustic wizardry. When sound waves jiggle your eardrum, these 3 bones act like levers and pistons, amplifying the vibration about 20 times over, and channeling it precisely into the inner ear, so you can hear whispers, music, or footsteps without the signal fizzling out. They're your personal sound booster, turning feeble air wiggles into brain-ready noise. Developmentally, they start as cartilage, hardening into bone by mid-pregnancy, and fine-tuning right up to a few years after birth, when your hearing fully locks in. Evolution's a wild ride. Here in fish and reptiles, these same structures were chewing jaw bones. When land animals popped up, jaws shrank, and those bones got reassigned to hearing air vibrations instead of crunching water prey.
By the time mammals arrived, the trio was perfected for sharp, high-fidelity sound, letting us eavesdrop on rustles or speech that would have been lost otherwise. Clinically, they're fragile stars. In a disorder called otosclerosis, they fuse together, muffling sound into gradual deafness, common in people in their 30s and 40s. Chronic infections can erode them away, causing conductive hearing loss and endless earaches, while trauma from loud blasts can snap the chain. Doctors test with tuning forks or audiograms, image via high-res CT scans, then fix issues via microscopic surgery or tiny implants that restore the sound-amplifying chain.
The adrenal glands are a pair of small, triangular-shaped hormone powerhouses perched like little hats on top of each kidney. Each has an outer cortex and inner medulla. The cortex churns out cortisol to manage stress, blood sugar, and inflammation, keeping your energy steady during tough times. The medulla blasts adrenaline for heart-pounding fight-or-flight moments, ramping up pulse, blood pressure, and focus when danger hits. Together, they're your body's emergency response team, balancing daily calm with instant action. Developmentally, they kick off early in the womb, around week 6, with the cortex layering up from fetal cells and the medulla migrating from nerve tissue. They peak in childhood, then settle into adult rhythms shaped by stress and age. By old age, they wear down, contributing to fatigue. Evolutionarily, these glands trace back to simple stress sacs in early fish for quick energy bursts. Mammals supercharge them into a dual factory system for complex threats like predators or famines. Without them, we'd fold under pressure. Clinically, they can go haywire. Too much cortisol from tumors causes Cushing's syndrome, middle weight gain, thin skin, weak bones, buffalo hump. Too little, Addison's, brings fatigue, low blood pressure, salt cravings, and crises. Adrenaline tumors, like pheochromocytomas, spike pressure like panic attacks. Doctors use blood/urine tests, CT/MRI scans, then surgery, often robotic, meds to block excess, or replacement pills. One compensates if lost, both gone means daily meds forever. Historically, Walter Cannon coined fight or flight in the 1920s studying adrenal jolts, revolutionizing stress science. Pop culture calls them adrenal fatigue scam central. Gurus blame burnout despite no proof, while movies hype adrenaline rushes in chases or workouts. The pituitary gland, often called the maestro of the body, is a pea-sized command center dangling from the underside of your brain, nestled in a bony pocket called the sella turcica. It's like a puppet master, pulling strings for your entire body. The boss of bosses for the endocrine system. It cranks out hormones that control growth hormone, thyroid function, stress and metabolism, sex drive and reproduction, milk production, and even stores brain-made signals like oxytocin for bonding and ADH for water balance. Basically, it directs traffic for every major endocrine organ, from your thyroid to your ovaries or testes. Developmentally, it buds off from the roof of the embryo's mouth, splitting into a front part, hormone making, and back part, storage. It surges during puberty to fuel growth spurts and fertility, then stabilizes, though tiny tumors can nudge it off kilter later. Evolutionarily, it started as a simple fish gland, regulating salt and water in oceans. Land animals made it explode in complexity to juggle reproduction, stress, and growth. Mammals like us turned it into the ultimate multitasker, tying brain emotions to body-wide chemistry. Clinically, it's a hotspot for drama. Benign tumors overproduce one hormone, leading to gigantism, endless milk flow, or total crashes in energy, weight, libido, and strength. Doctors map it with MRI scans and blood tests for hormone floods or droughts, then fix via keyhole nose surgery, radiation, or meds.